What's up, Star Trek fans? This is I'm going to try to be very brief about this review. Star Trek Picard is over. It's early in the morning. I have a dental pain. I have an issue going on, but I am going to be heavily medicated soon. But I'll be able to get this review out. The opening of Picard, I'm going to tell you about the things I liked about the episode and the things I didn't like about the episode. The first thing I will say is that I found it interesting that the music was the way it was, almost that classical music, similar to Blue Skies at the beginning of the first season, first episode, which I thought was, ooh, that's not a good way to start. I thought they were actually going to start. Now, there's a meaning and a message in there, but I won't even get into that. We'll just get right into pretty much the episode, and I will get into some of my complaints and some of my things that I enjoyed about this episode. I thought the opening scene with Beverly was wonderful. I love the throwback stuff to Picard, to Beverly's items, the Jack Crusher box, and all that sort of thing, and the laptop. Reading the captain's log from Picard. Beverly getting up and she's shooting and stuff. And there are already some people who are like, oh, of course they made Beverly like a warrior, like it's like Terminator or something like that. No, she's a doctor first and foremost, absolutely. She's very empathetic and smart and brilliant, but she's also shown great command skills at times. But also she's kicked the crap out of people before. She's ninja kicked somebody and phasered them to death in TNG. She's had fights with people. She has showed that she's no slouch. She can kind of do it all for a doctor, to be honest. And she's always been like that, from having to solve problems on the ship when she was caught in that static warp bubble or whatever it was. I forget what it really was, but whatever. You know what I mean. She's done so many things, so this was not out of the ordinary for her, so I love it. Beverly sort of seems to be in character. One thing by the way, spoilers, don't, just so you know, episode 1, season 3, spoilers. I don't like the fact that she's been missing for 20 years. I hate that. The only thing that's making me not angry or upset fully about it is that it's got part to do with the story. So if there's a really good reason why she's been gone for 20 years, then I'll understand. But man, it's got to be a good reason. Otherwise, I find it hard to believe that Beverly would cut these people off of her life. It doesn't seem real. So for that reason, I'm hoping there's a massive explanation, and it wasn't even her decision almost. But we don't know that yet. But right now I don't like that idea that she's cut everyone off for 20 years. And if it's just to do plot and just for the story, then that's going to be not good for me. But that's my only thing I'll say there. I love the phaser fire, the blasting, the feel of the opening. It feels like a movie, like a cinematic opening, a wonderful opening. It was exciting. There were parts of this that reminded me a little bit of Enterprise, the TV show Enterprise, instead of TNG in a way, but it did feel like TNG. They had a lot of music and cues and things that they did. So it definitely does feel like a TNG movie, almost like a TV movie of Star Trek The Next Generation, right off the bat. It feels kind of that way. I like how they set up Beverly. I like the intro. Then we find out it's part 1, and it was like, part 1 of what? Part 1 of part 3, or part 1 of 4 parts, or how many parts are there? And this part is called The Next Generation. Then we see a painting in Picard, and he's talking about giving it to Geordi. This is the next thing I didn't like. Why is Geordi the commissioner of a museum or something? I thought Geordi was a Commodore and in charge of the spaceships and engineering. He's an engineer. Why is he involved in the museum? So I don't understand that. I don't like that. But if there's a real good reason as to why Geordi wants to collect art and paintings as opposed to be an engineer, I mean, engineering was his life. So why is that changed? Maybe there's a reason for it, though. So if there's a reason for it, these are things that will... but I am a little bit concerned. But still, whatever. Okay. People change. Let's move on. That is a surprising change, though, so hopefully there's a good explanation. Otherwise, I'm confused. Basically, this scene is to get rid of Laris, and, Picard's sitting in his study or whatever. The communicator badge goes off. He gets the message from Beverly. He doesn't quite understand it. Shows Laris. Laris like, she's in trouble. You gotta go help her. Blah, 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 blah. I'll see you later. I'll be at a bar somewhere, and we get rid of Laris. So that's an okay little scene. It's probably the best I've enjoyed her and Picard, I suppose. So the writing is already better to me. Then we see Riker in a dark bar, which I don't like that. A dark bar, kind of weird, but I also kind of good. They make jokes about his kind of the Enterprise D, and nobody wants that old ship. I don't know if I love that, but it's kind of interesting, and it's shows the age. It's a little bit of a joke. I like how Riker and Picard are more friends now than they've ever been, it feels like, which is what would happen. The first few years on a starship, there'd be that command structure, and there was, but they became more friendly as time went on, and now they've really become family. You know what I mean? Complete family, and that's what comes across here. And Picard, is older, and he is a little bit of an older man, and sometimes is that sort of curmudgeon, or whatever you want to call it. But he was like that in All Good Things. But even more, he was very like, don't tell me I'm old, But so there's a little bit of that comes across naturally through Patrick Stewart being older. But it doesn't, it doesn't. It plays accurately because he is much older. So that's okay. I love the dynamic with Picard and Riker. I love their dialogue. I love that they brought up the coding that Beverly was using when they used it for the Borg. That was something very cool and interesting that they added to Best of Both Worlds there that makes sense. So I really like that. And now we go to Raffi. Everybody's the hated Raffi. And for the people that don't know, I hated season 1 and I hated season 2 a lot more. I would say season 1 was maybe a 4 out of 10 or something like that show. I thought season 2 was a 2 out of 10. I absolutely hated Picard season 2, and I did not like season 1. And both had fairly decent opening episodes. So from what I'm being told, without having been spoiled, is that the weaker episodes, if there are any, are these first couple episodes, and that the better episodes are actually later on. So we'll see if that's true or not. But it's an okay opening, I guess. Raffi's on some planet. Oh, my God, she's going to do drugs. She's looking for information. She's pretending to be a junkie, we find out. So she's not really a junkie anymore. She's trying to find out information. And I like how at the end she has to get rid of the drugs, and she looks at it like she's still tempted, by that. And although I hate her character and I hate the idea of the drugs and all that sort of thing, it wasn't very Star Trek-like in the first couple of seasons, but it was fine. And I thought it was pretty well done for her character, although I don't like her character. And then she's anyway, she makes a deal, gets some information. They're looking for the red something, the red queen, the red person, the red statue. I don't remember what the hell it was. But anyway, she's looking for that information. So she's not really on drugs. She's an operative for Starfleet. And some people will be like, oh, no, an operative for Starfleet. Well, they always had Starfleet intelligence, because how many times do they reference on the show, Starfleet intelligence says this? Well, we're getting to see some Starfleet intelligence there. Then the approach to the ship, to the Titan with Riker and Picard, that was really cool. I loved that interaction. Riker's like, we're just going to wing it and we'll figure it out when we get up there, I like that interaction. It's like a buddy cop thing going on between the two of them. I really, really like that. They get on the ship. 7 of 9 is there, but now she wants to be called her regular human name because that's what the captain wants. This is one of those things where there's conflict with the captain. Gene Roddenberry, a lot of people wouldn't like that. In fact, normally the admirals are the ones that are up to no good and up to weird stuff. So they are the weird admirals up to weird stuff. And maybe the captain has kind of figured that out. And the captain, being a former engineer, is very particular and OCD and that sort of thing. So I liked his, I kind of, even though he's kind of a prick, I buy it. It's weird. I buy it because he's got OCD. He wants everything done a certain way. He's very almost Jellicoe-like, Captain Jellicoe. How he's kind of a douche, and also before they get to the captain and they have dinner with the captain, Liam. They meet Geordi's daughter. I didn't love the way they introduced her because Riker makes fun of her, and even Picard in the background is like, Will, don't make fun of her, don't put her on the spot. But Riker almost enjoys putting her on the spot in front of everybody, and she's embarrassed. I thought that was a little bit weird. They were doing it for comedy and to get everybody laughing a little bit. And it's okay because Riker's just kind of like devilish almost. Like, it seemed a little bit slightly out of character for him. In fact, a lot of times Riker would be, I don't know, but in the way it isn't. It's not. I mean, he's kind of weird, but uh, so very interesting. But so I didn't love that part, but I do like that she's there and that there was a funny little moment and whatever. We're nitpicking at that point, if you're upset about that for real. But no, I love the shots. It's weird. The shot of the space station is wonderful. The shot of the ship, man, the CGI in the show is a little bit bizarre. It is, I want to say, sometimes, I'm going to be honest, sometimes the CGI doesn't look real. Like the ships don't always look real. It's like I like the design of the ship. I like the ship itself, but it looks like the CGI isn't done. You know what I mean? And maybe that's the budget. And if that's the case, what are you going to do? It does, like, I almost think some of the CGI in Star Trek Enterprise is like the ships are more believable. Like, I don't know why. But the space station looks beautiful. The planets look beautiful. But for some reason, the ships look almost cartoonish at times. So there's a little bit of a knock, I guess, there. But just like one or two more renders of detail or something, and it would be fine. So that's weird. That's the first time I've ever thought that since maybe like the original series, where the ship looked a little funny in the original series, obviously, because they were limited with what they could do. But I think the Enterprise D looks better on the '80s show than it does than any of the ships so far here. Really, it's weird. I don't know why that is. But I love the control panels. I love all the blue and the lights everywhere and the TNG era like panels everywhere, and they're integrating certain other things. Very well done. The set and production design on the ship itself, inside the ship. I mean, I know it's a little darker and stuff like that, and some things are darkly lit. Some of the lighting is very similar to the First Contact and Nemesis and ships like that, so that's wonderfully done. The interaction at the dinner table with Captain Shaw is great. I love that play. I don't love too much conflict in TNG because I like the original whatever. Raffi's talking to somebody trying to get information. They're like, "You're a warrior. You can figure it out." That sounds like she's talking to Worf, to be honest. She's talking to somebody that we're all going to know, it sounds like. And I believe she's speaking to Worf. I don't know, but I think so. Then Seven yells at Picard and Riker in that scene where they're on bunk beds because the Captain Liam Shaw was like, "You're going to get your own quarters or whatever. The best we have on short notice." And I know I'm leaving a lot of stuff out because I'm rushing because it's like 9 in the morning and I got to get going and I got to go. And my face is killing me. I needed to go I'm going to the doctor's today to get this, try to fix myself so I can get to work and do things. But I loved the scene in the bunks. The captain ain't taking any crap. He's like, "I don't buy you guys. You're a retired admiral and you're a captain that doesn't have a ship anymore, really. And you're on my ship telling me we're going to go to, outside of Federation space. I don't think so." And I love that they're sitting in the beds and, Seven of Nine kind of yells at them because she's already made a decision to help them, but she's irritated by it. So she explains she's struggling with her command position, and I get that. That's okay. It's certainly better than what her character was doing in the first 2 seasons. So, okay. And she helps them escape through a shuttlecraft, and she's about to get reprimanded. Raffi is now looking for the red statue or whatever, or the red thing, and she finds out it's a statue, and it's Captain Garrett from yesterday's Enterprise, of the Enterprise C, I believe, in yesterday's Enterprise. And then she's not in time. She can't warn anybody in time. They destroy the museum or whatever it is. They destroy the building. And then Portal opens up. Everyone's making jokes about this. I mean, it's so Portal, it's hilarious. It's funny because in the first game, it was Lovecraft, which was ridiculous. And now we have Portal. But, I mean, it seems like I'll take this Portal thing over the Lovecraft ending of Season 1. But we have Portal opens up. Makes you wonder, is this something that has to do with the yesterday's Enterprise universe? Because they attacked something that was memorializing Captain Garrett from Captain Garrett from... is it Garrett? I don't even remember. It's funny because I've watched TNG. Every year I watch the entire series of TNG probably twice. Every year. Legit. And I still forget things. But she's not in time. The portal opens up and swallows it and then dumps the ashes down. I don't know what that's about. something to do with Beverly. We kind of skipped over a lot of Beverly's stuff. She says, help us. Somebody's hunting her. She's wounded. She puts herself in some kind of cryostasis. Picard and Riker are arriving onto her ship. They get there. I love their interactions going on in the ship. It's very good. This is really well done. I love the interaction. And then the mystery guy shows up and puts the gun to Riker's back. We find out that that's Beverly's son. Everybody has thought is Beverly's son. Why is it Beverly's son? Is that really Picard's son from 20 years ago? Did she clone him? Is he from another dimension? Is she from another? Like, I don't know what's going on here, but we'll find out at some point later. And he ends up, getting a little bit of Riker, elbows him, and then he tries to help them get away. But then the big ship shows up with, I believe that's Vadic's ship. So probably one of the first scenes we'll see in the next episode is Vadic saying, like, oh, how very precise with your time. We see that in the trailer. I think that's what the part that's coming up. And we'll see that interaction, perhaps some kind of battle here. And then the most amazing end credits scene with one of a song that literally in the theater, when we were watching First Contact in the theater and I was 12 or 13 years old, I literally got teary-eyed in the theater as a 12-year-old or 13-year-old during the opening scene and ending scene of First Contact because the music was so beautiful. It's like, dude, it's the TNG theme that you love, Jerry Goldsmith, but then it's that new theme that they created for First Contact was so beautiful. I loved that theme. Like, forever, that's been my favorite Star Trek theme. I mean, I love all of them and so many of them, but that one always stood out as, like, I had to get the soundtrack almost right away. And we get that here with the control panels being shown and the musical notes and the ship and just the panning of the ship and everything. It was, man, what an outro. What a beautiful outro. I mean, you talk about ship porn. I mean, this was like, bro, this was really, like, the outro almost, was almost the best part, which is not a good thing, but I would say that the biggest downside at this point is that I don't like 50-minute shows every week. I don't like it, really. I think it's close because I like Star Trek in individual episodes. I still don't like long, drawn-out Star Trek things. But I like Stranger Things, and they do that, and I like Game of Thrones, and they do that. And I think this is close, but it's certainly better than Picard seasons 1 and 2. Seasons 1 and 2, I became angry, like furious, that I actually had to wait till next week to see more nothing, and then wait another week to see more nothing. So as long as every week you deliver things that are fun and exciting and whatever, then awesome. And as long as rewatchability is good, then this is going to be a great show to buy on Blu-ray. I certainly would never buy Picard Season 1 and 2 on Blu-ray. What I would buy on Blu-ray is the opening scene of Star Trek Picard Episode 1 in the first 5 minutes with him and Data. I love that interaction. I would buy that on Blu-ray. Love the interaction. Then the whole season goes to shit. So my other complaint is that I think they should have released 2 episodes. I am annoyed that I can't see the next episode right now. I would pay to see it, which is good, and so that's a good thing in a way. But it's also kind of annoying. And I think some people aren't going to be bought in yet. My wife said she wouldn't watch this. I made her watch this, and I asked her if she'd watch next week, and she said maybe. So it looks like she is going to watch next week. So you've got my wife back for a few. It looks like. But there are a lot of people that I think might see this and go, ooh, swearing is the other problem. Raffi was dropping S-bombs and stuff like that. And so, like, it was like, ooh, like, there shouldn't be any really swearing, like the S word and F word. Although I say them all the time, and I love movies. I love swearing. I don't give a shit. I say the C word. I say every word that's I'm insanely offensive. I should be canceled for the things I say. But I don't care because words are just words to me. But this is Star Trek. So I didn't love that either. So there's some ups and downs, but there are certainly the downs aren't as concerning as the downs of the last couple of seasons, I think. We'll see where this goes, though. I'm still a little bit unsure. But I am worried that a lot of people who gave this first one a shot are going to be like, oh, no, it's still dark. Seven's mad, and they're mad, and she's in the wrong spot, and this captain's a jerk, and Beverly's shooting everybody, and people are dying, and there's a son, and I just feel like there are some people that are going to be like, no, you know, I really think that the first couple of episodes need to get out as soon as possible. Maybe 3 episodes. But from what I'm understanding, it's I just think that this should be seen all at once. I feel like the whole 10 hours should be out so I can watch the whole thing and love it. I don't know why. I don't like continuation in Star Trek. I don't know why. I can't explain it. But I will say this has done the best job, I think. Although season 1, at the end of episode 1, I still was curious to see what happened next a little bit, but it really started tapering off. And then by the last episode, I was furious. So, but season 2, by episode 4 or 5, I hated my life. So we'll see if that's what happens here. But the anxiety of knowing that could happen still is concerning. But I feel like based on this episode, that Terry Matalas has a better grip on the Star Trek universe, so I'm more optimistic about it. So I think everybody should be giving it the full shot. So this is a good sign. I would give this episode a and again, I don't know about the museum thing with Geordi. I don't know about Beverly, why she's been missing 20 years. There's been some swears and some other things that are out of the ordinary for Star Trek to me. And this episode was really just the beginning, and we don't have a lot of answers. And there's a little bit of Raffi. We had to get Laris out of here. So this episode was like we really need episode 2 to drop at the same time. Episode 2 should have dropped with this. That's my biggest complaint. Like, I'm not saying drop the whole thing. I know that's impossible to do that, but they should have dropped episode 2, I think. But it was good. It was pretty good. If I guess I would give this, I'd probably give this episode a 6.5 out of 10. Which is the best rating that I've given Star Trek Picard. I have maybe a 7, but it's 6.5 out of 10. And that is the best rating that I've given a Star Trek Picard so far. So that's my opinion. What do you think about it? Leave it in the comments section down below. And if you haven't subscribed to my new Star Trek channel, exclusively Star Trek Late Night, subscribe here. And I'll see you guys probably soon with more thoughts. But right now I've got to go get some numbing stuff in my face and some antibacterial stuff and see a doctor so my jaw doesn't fall off. But do leave comments down below. And please subscribe if you're brand new. This is my small new channel. And we need to hit 1,000 subs soon. So I want you guys to be part of the journey here. Give me your opinions, man. You hate the show, you love it, you're not sure still, but you're going to give it a shot. I want to know what you guys think. Thanks, and I'll see you soon with more on Star Trek. Now watch some more of my videos.